Welcome to the Straight Red Card. It's segment 3, so you know what's going to happen here.
I'm probably before we started the show.
Yeah, but I'm probably going to be slurring.
Slurring your words together. Let's rephrase this.
Well,
you're not going to be using slurs.
No slurs.
Maybe in the
you know, I mean, there's some slurs you can slip in still these days, but I'm not going to say any of them because I don't want to be, I don't want the show to get banned. But because I think some two dudes were having some debate. It was Vaush and
Hassan.
And someone used the word.
They both used it. They both got banned off Twitter. Not Twitter. Twitch.
For saying cracker. Is that the word?
I like crackers.
Can we say that? I mean, it's our
word.
It's an edible. You can eat them. They come in boxes. You can you can smear cheese on them and eat them. Yeah. So it's pretty ridiculous, honestly. I mean, that word's been on TV since the Jeffersons, or even before that, All in the Family. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And I don't even know how he used the word, but I am not. If somebody called me that, I'd be like, what? Okay, that's funny. Why'd you call me that? And then I'd be like, okay, yeah, I guess I am.
It doesn't really matter how he used it, in all honesty, because I don't find the word offensive.
I don't either.
I really don't. And
it's a word for a biscuit. I don't care if
people use it, whatever.
Yeah, it's a word for a biscuit.
Well, I mean, I know the origins of the word, but it's not a biscuit. But I mean, it is, but it isn't. But
I know, I get it.
It doesn't bother me one way.
Oh, yeah. You're going back to the historical meaning of the word. Yes,
I mean, that's predominantly the meaning of the word. Now, of course, you can use it in more of a common tense of just describing. Period. But
I'm just saying, most people will have no idea. They will not have any historic reference for that word.
Sure,
if they are called that
word,
will be like, well, you just called me a biscuit, So I don't think it has anyhow.
Well, I think I sent you a list from Twitter of like it was like 20 slurs that are acceptable or whatever. Like they're for white people, and they're like some of them are like yogurt goblins and stuff like that. And it's just like you're going through, what was
sure that's not like a slur for a porn star? Yogurt.
Almost like a no-purpose flour. And I'm like, oh, come on, these are most of these are funny. Most of them are funny. So.
Yeah, they're just funny. Call me whatever.
I mean, you do you, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of history, so I'm reading this book on the Battle of Chickamauga in the Civil War.
Oh, okay.
It's the Battle of Chickamauga and the Civil War. It's a big bloody battle. And so they have at the beginning of this thing, it's like, here is the order of battle. And it gives you like the corps. Then it breaks down to the divisions within the corps.
Corps. Okay.
Corps. And then not corpse.
No, not, and definitely not ladies of the night.
Yeah, exactly. So from corps to division to brigade to regiment. And so I'm going down the list and I'm looking at this list. And then there is the second division had in order in its order of battle. The second division has one brigade. And this is the reserve, the Union Reserve Corps. So if the second division only has one brigade in it, doesn't that just make the second division a brigade? Right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
It does, because in order for a division to be a division, it has to have multiple brigades. That's how you break that shit down. Like a division usually has 2 to 3 brigades. This division had one brigade. That makes it a brigade, not a division.
Maybe the second division lost a brigade or two in the previous made up location, like that Chickamauga or whatever you were saying.
Battle of Chickamauga.
Chickamauga. This is pretty close. Sounds like something you shouldn't pour water on to her feet after midnight.
I had a great date with a gal named Chickamauga. Anyhow, we got questions from you, and that's what we are going to answer here. Let's start with Nicholas Jaguneux. I think that's how you pronounce that. Nicholas, if I got it wrong, feel free to fix it, because Jagneaux is not something I do much. Jaguneux. So he asks, what is the best dual nat player the U.S. missed out on getting? And I know everybody's going to say Giuseppe Rossi. It's going to be the first person they jump on, right?
Yeah, my non-bullshit answer would be that yes.
Oh, you jumped on that shit too.
Barring his knee injuries and stuff like that, he would have been massive for the United States.
He would have been, but that's the point. He had all those knee injuries. He would have been hardly useful most of the time, right?
You never know. If he was an American player at the time, he may not have actually been playing for Villarreal. So you never know.
He would have
been playing for New England Revolution or where is he from? New Jersey. So he would have been for the Red Bulls, maybe.
Yeah, but his name was Giuseppe.
Yeah,
he's not playing in MLS, not as an American. So yeah, he had all those injuries. What about Trent Alexander-Arnold? Liverpool, who scored a massive freaking goal today. Probably one of, can you imagine if he was on our team? And he was absolutely eligible. No one talked about it that much because everybody just was like, yeah, he's not going to play for us. And yeah, he didn't. But here's the secret one nobody ever talks about.
Romeo Rubin. Oh, sorry. No,
not Romeo Rubin. And not the guy who played in Germany, the center back guy. Oh, can't remember. Yeah, Subotic. Yeah, not him. He was a flame out. He was an early riser and a quick, head down to the bottom of the fucking hill guy.
This is easy, low hanging fruit for a premature joke, so I'm not gonna make it.
Okay, good. Don't do that. No, the secret one that nobody talks about is Thomas Delaney. He's 30 now. He is a Denmark international. His father has U.S. citizenship, so he could have played for us. He's a defensive midfielder, and he's still 30, and he plays for Sevilla in Spain. And so he would be a great backup right now, a excellent backup or a mentor for Adams. Perfect. Would have filled in perfect. We would have no more Acosta nightmares, right? And the interesting thing is, he played for Werder Bremen, and they were really good. And then he left Werder.
They were good. Yeah.
Yes. And then when he left, they crashed like a fucking rock. And then he went to Dortmund and he played with Pulisic for a while. And he was there up until last season, actually 2021. And he's at Sevilla now in Spain. And he still plays for the Danish national team. It was a big loss, but I don't think anybody knew he was eligible. I don't even think we knew, because I've never heard a word.
I'm pretty sure it had its own topic in big soccer back in the day.
You think so?
Pretty positive.
You think you saw that? Okay, that's fair.
I'm gonna pull it up right now and look.
No, that's fair. Listen, if people had noticed it prior, that's great. But I think he's the biggest loss, honestly. In the perspective of how we're looking at the U.S. men's national team right now, as it is laid out. Can you imagine having the option at DM to play either Thomas Delaney or Tyler Adams? We'd be like totally chill. We'd be like, oh yeah, shit's no big deal, right? No big deal.
So there's about 6 or 7 different topic threads in big soccer, but the top one is Thomas Delaney. Is that fucker even a Yank?
No, not technically. Technically yes, but not spiritually. So his father had a business here in the United States for a while. He gained U.S. eligibility, U.S. citizenship But by the time Thomas was around, they were already in Europe again. So, I mean, I would guess that his English is pretty broken, but if at all, and if it isn't, that doesn't matter either.
There's a number of players.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if you can speak English or not, as long as you're, you have eligibility.
If you're a US citizen, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. You can learn English on the fly. And then the next question is from Griff. He said, what would you prefer the kit to look like? I think he had other comments too about, the kit being all over the place, and why don't we just have a fucking kit?
Yeah, we've definitely mentioned that, and that's where the question is stemming from. One of the responses, I think, to that question was talking about the idea of keeping your home kit as consistent as possible, and then having your away kit be the one that you, or even third kit being the one that you sort of mess around with. Because obviously we've talked about this in the sense where the reason why they change the home and away so frequently, like every 2 years, is because they want money.
Yeah, they're selling these things. So you're not going to get a consistent kit. I would give up on that idea.
I would say, generally. I would agree with the other guy, though. Quite frankly, you could have a relatively consistent home kit that you make some slight changes to, but overall it keeps the same appeal, But the away kit can vary up the wazoo if you want, and then that's where people will end up buying. And do you really need to have the multiple option of like the sashes? So what was it, like the blue with the white sash or the red with the blue sash? Do you really need those two options? Because what you end up having is you have an entire stadium full of people with so many different kits from all over the decades that you can't tell if this is an American dominant fan base or if it's a hodgepodge of everybody. You never know.
Well, you see that. We're not alone in that. There are a lot of countries that
I feel like if you go to Mexico, while there are some variations between some kits, there's still relative consistency in the sense that if you look at the stadium, you're going to see a lot of
white and green.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty consistent.
Yeah, because we do white, then we did red, then we did popsicle, then we did blue.
I've got a slate gray one from 2008. That's the one I wear all the time.
Man, I would really like to see some up and down stripes. Red on white, blue pants. I don't know what socks. I don't know. I'm not a fucking goddamn designer. All right. I'm just saying.
Get on it.
We do, and we do it. That's the regular. It would be cool if we could find something. I like the popsicle stuff. A lot of people didn't. I like the hoops. A lot of people hated that too. So it's really hard to settle on one, but it would be yes. The answer is yes. It would be nice to settle on one. I'm just not sure which one.
Come up with like a clean cut home kit. It doesn't have to be all white or anything like that, but come up with a clean cut home kit. And maybe like blue top, white shorts or whatever, something, and then or even red top and white shorts. I don't really.
No white shorts.
Whatever. No. I don't give a rat's ass.
You're not a designer either. Yes.
No. Let's just say let's come up with some clean cut first home kit, and then on the aways every cycle, or you can even do every 2 years if you want. Come up with a different away kit. But you can still take that home kit and you can make some small changes to it to make it your own thing for that year without changing the overall appeal of the kit. That's my take.
Yeah, I mean, you could keep it simpler, but they're not going to do it because they think there's more money in jacking around and juggling fucking kits. So they're going to do that, folks. I mean, I'd like to have a standard kit.
I feel like the money would still be there if they just changed one of the kits.
You think? I don't think
I
so.
Do.
I think every time
I'm gonna go back to the sashes because again you had
dude,
the red with blue sash, or you had the blue with the white sash. I think is what it was.
Dude, people literally collect every single jersey.
Sure,
New Jersey comes out. They're not gonna. They don't want to lose all those fucking weirdos. I mean, if you do that, you're not a weirdo. You're not a weirdo.
If that many kits are few and far between.
If you
there are
do
definitely
that,
some whales out there. But
Filippo, I apologize. if you do that. I'm just saying there are people who are really into that, and they're not weirdos. I'm a weirdo. So, but that's what they're focused on.
I think the bulk of people when a kit change comes out, they buy one kit, one jersey, and then whichever one they like the most. So if you isolate that down to just the away jersey, you're saying, hey, here's the away kit for this cycle. And
reduction in sales by a third. I'm serious. So you keep the home jersey the same year after year after year, they will lose money. They're making money off of all three versions. So I don't know. I just think the people who would normally buy the home change would just buy the change period. I think it would just transition and siphon down to one kit of consistent purchases. I think as a marketer, you would have to do more research to know.
How could I do that? How could I possibly do that when they do it all the time? MLS does it too.
You just ask them, ask the fans what they want, and you give it to them. That's how this works.
There you go. There we go. If you look at just our comment section, I think it's pretty much consistent with that.
Okay, our comment section does not reflect all those fuckers out in. It does not.
It's just as good as any random poll.
Okay, so how are you a member of the fan group, the USA fan group?
The American Outlaws?
Yeah, are you a member?
I'm not a paying member by any means, no.
And I'm not either.
So what?
So you don't know, because those are the people that show up at the games, and those are the people that buy the shirts.
Those are people that buy kits, yes, but I guarantee you the vast majority of them don't buy every single kit under the sun.
Oh, I don't know if they do, but I do know that those are the people that U.S. Soccer are focused on when it comes to designing the kits all the time and making them different. Guarantee it.
Yeah,
that's who they focus on.
You can still make that change for them. I don't care. Just do it as one kit, or do it as your home and a third, or your away and third kit. But keep a consistent kit somewhere.
The home kit should be consistent, is what you're saying.
Sure.
And I'm saying it's not going to be, because that's the most lauded kit. It's the most focused on kit, because that's when our fans go and watch the games at home. So that's what they need to sell. And that means they're going to change it. I'm just telling you, Brett, that's how marketing works.
But I don't think they're going to, I don't think they're not going to continue. I don't think they're going to not change the kits. I'm just saying, I would like an identity of some form of when you go to the home game, you're not just seeing a slew of random kits scattered across the stadium. And even then, I think that's very specific. So I don't know. It's,
dude, I'd like to be pleasured every night and go to sleep.
That's your problem, not mine.
All right. But that's, I mean, again, I mean, that you can want that, but you're not going to necessarily get that. I mean, unless you pay for it, I guess, in some places, but I'm not shocked. I'm not shelling out money for that. All I'm saying is, you can wish for things, and then there's reality. And reality is marketing tells them they're going to make more money if they keep fucking around with the fucking solid kit.
Okay.
Home kit.
Whatever. I mean, okay. No, I'm saying that if you make a change to a kit, or even two, so say if there's a third kit for just selling purposes, because who the fuck uses their third kit? But yeah, I'm just saying, if people are wanting to buy a change of kit just because they like to have all the kits, or not even that, because I don't think there are very few and far between people who just buy everything and under the sun.
Dude, so the math is making, listen, they're doing this for a reason. They've looked at the math and they realize they sell more fucking shit when they change it. That's why they're doing it. I mean, they wouldn't do it otherwise. They want money.
I don't doubt that they make money on it. I don't doubt that's the sole purpose behind it. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's going to decrease as much as you think if you just change one kit instead of both.
I'm just saying, if it decreased 15%, they're going to shit a brick. Somebody's going to lose their job. So no, they're not going to do that. I'm like, 15% decrease. Who's fucking up this shit here? I mean, so somebody's going to have to take the fall for that. So yeah, I mean, if you're hired as a marketing manager or the marketing director for an organization like that, and your job is to market and sell shit, and there's a 15% decrease because you decided we're going to stick solid with this one shirt.
Make it up elsewhere. Sell other shit besides jerseys. Sell more warm-ups. Sell anything. Sell just t-shirts in general.
Landon Donovan cock socks made different colors.
Sell scarves. Sell anything.
Home away.
They have everything under the sun that they can sell. But predominantly it's all focused on kids. Sure. But you can make more money. You make more money selling t-shirts than you would jerseys because of the cost of the actual jersey itself.
U.S. soccer dog collars.
Why not? Fuck it.
Dog leashes. All right. Let's move on next one. Let's talk about balls. Sparkle Duck had a testicle question that I think I answered pretty well, but he said, I have a question to put out anonymously. Oh shit. I just mentioned his name.
Well, I mean, he posted it not anonymously, so I think it's tough to say anonymous for that.
Well, and I'm sure his real name is not Sparkle Duck.
Maybe his parents were hippies. You never know this, Derek.
Yeah, so his last name is Duck. All right.
Maybe it's Sparkle Duck Smith. Maybe that's his middle name.
Well, don't give.
I'm assuming it's a him, by the way, but
I think it is. I have a question to put up anonymously. Well, it's not anonymously, dude. You just posted it on public, YouTube. I don't have a lot.
It's got to be talking about testicles.
And this is how he.
Probably actually, I take that back completely.
He's not a woman.
We've had this conversation already. Never mind.
Right. I mean, he's not a biological woman. I don't have a lot of guy friends, and Google is misleading, but is it normal for one testicle to hang twice as low as the other? And is that why people always comment on the left nut? Anything to do with...
Well, Sparkle, I mean, I have to tell you, I've got guy friends, but we do not talk about our nuts. In general. We don't compare and contrast balls.
You guys don't talk about your balls at all?
No, we don't compare and contrast. I don't talk about you
don't whip them out.
Hey, Joe, how low do your balls hang? Dude. Mine hang halfway between my crotch and my knee. Is that normal? Let me see your balls. No, that's nowhere near. It's nowhere near. Okay, never mind.
No, you never show your balls.
I'm just saying.
It's not like a comparison.
You say stuff like
No,
you can my left nut or something like that,
No, you can joke about your balls though. I mean, when I was in my band, we joked about balls all the time because we had a guy in the band and he would always say, yeah, as I get older, my balls are hanging lower and lower and lower. I think I can stuff them in my ass. And we're like, what?
We talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we talked about testicles. Testicles are funny to talk about, but, I did tell him in my reply, twice as low. I mean, if you got a fucking serious difference, that's probably a little unusual, but because there usually is a difference between one testicle and the other.
That just means he's got a little bit deeper voice, huh? His balls further.
It depends. I mean, like I said in my one response, I was like, I mean, unless one is like a foot drop and the other one's 6 inches, then you're really talking low, right? I mean, that's a really low voice. But I mean, you got a 6-inch drop or an 8 or a foot drop. If you got a foot drop, now you got some serious package issues when you get up every morning and put your clothes on. And you got a packaging issue. So, I just told him there's no medical threat. That's quite normal to have one
unless one the other circles the other and chokes it out. That could be a medical threat.
Like you're driving along, you take a sharp turn when you're driving. You don't have all that shit packaged up right, and that the one that's longer just swings around and fucking strangles the other one. Yeah.
Go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that could be bad. But listen, we're here for you.
Riding a bike's gotta suck, man. Watch out for the Stokes on your bike.
He'd be riding his bike and it looks like there's like a sack of coins hanging off one of the fucking seats.
Wearing some short shorts, just
sack of marbles hanging off.
You're supposed to put baseball cards in there, man. Come on.
Oh,
Who's got
Jesus.
baseball cards these days?
Well,
Talk about an industry that killed itself.
I don't have any more. My mom sold them all for like a penny
Yeah, I was to say.
out of my closet.
The problem with baseball cards. This is off topic from balls and stuff, but
Please.
problem with baseball cards is compared to like the old back in the day when like there's such a rarity of cards. The 70s all the way through today, they just Topps and anybody else who made cards just overprinted by billions. So the cards aren't worth the stock that they were produced on at all. And people who are saving them are praying to God that in the next 20 or 30 years, when it comes to retirement time, that 90% of these cards have gone by the wayside through maybe their basements got flooded and damaged the cards, or people are like, well, I'm not making any money on these, so I'm just going to use them as tinder to start a fire or something. But the baseball card industry itself has shot itself in the foot by not making things exclusive.
Yeah, probably. And I don't know a whole lot about that, but I do have to say that, I'm sure there are hundreds and thousands of kids like me who grew up with baseball cards, had them in a box.
Dude, I had a shit ton of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
All sports.
And then, you leave and go to college. Your mom's like, oh, what's this shit? Let's get this. Let's sell this shit.
Well, yeah, my dad was spending time recently because we still had them in boxes and binders up in my closet and stuff like that at my parents' house. But he was going through them all and just looking for ones that looked unique or special or whatever, and just checking with some store that buys them. And just with most baseball cards, unless something's incredibly special, like a rookie signed, even that's not even that special anymore days. Some players more so than others, obviously, but he's like, I'll take the lot of them for like $20. Even then the guy might not make his money back because really the cards are all worthless.
Yep. At this point, we should get to the last. I mean, it's not a question, is it? But it is. You can't even buy. This is from Please Morton, who I had a confused argument with. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? He said, you can't even buy an MLS franchise for $90 million. What TF the fuck are you talking about? I mean, that question, the way it's phrased, first of all, that's too aggressive, dude. You don't need to come at us like that. Smoke a fucking joint. Come on. He said, what the fuck are you talking about? What?
Whatever.
That's exactly what we said. You can't even, I mean, yeah, we know how much MLS teams are worth.
So it was the reason why it was confusing.
That's a very confusing start.
The reason it was confusing start is because the actual topic itself had all to do with TV rights, nothing to do with franchises. So when he's like, you can't even buy a franchise for 90 mil, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, when did we talk about franchises and why would no, of course not. No, you haven't been able to buy a franchise for 90 mil for almost a decade now, if not more.
That's like 300 million.
But yeah, right nowadays, yeah, exactly. And that's including that 300 million is including your stadium costs, though, for the most part.
Yeah.
Regardless, it took me several reads before I figured out his point. And the whole point was that we were talking about how, like, well, you're not going to be getting the MLS is not going to get more than the 90 million that they got for a TV right, unless it's for a longer duration, because quite frankly, the views aren't there.
No,
unless they can convince somebody otherwise.
They have nothing to do with one another. The franchise fee and the fucking TV rights have nothing to do with one another. One is what is a long-term investment into and you're hoping to make that money back or sell it down the line, and you're hoping the value of the club you bought increases. The other one is just extra shit you get on the side. But most clubs in MLS don't make their money off of TV. They make a good, sensible portion, but a lot of it is from, if you're Portland or Seattle and you're selling tickets and you're selling T-shirts and kits, and that's where they're making their money. So yeah,
he was scoffing at the fact that MLS can make more money off of one team than like 3 TV deals.
I get it.
And
it's
to that
true.
point. But I guess my point, I made this also in the argument, in the sense that franchise fee, what's the phrase for accounting? It depreciates year after year. So yeah, you made that 30 million, but I mean, if the team's been in the league for a decade, all of a sudden you're looking at 3 million a year. You know, so
Yeah.
not 3 million a year, 30 million. 30 million a year, whatever. Regardless, it depreciates, whereas the TV deal is set already for a specific number of years, and you already know what the depreciation of that is.
And
regardless, it is just TV rights. 90 million is excessive amount of money for what MLS viewership actually is.
That's correct. And then that's why it made one of his other comments so confusing, because then he replies to me later on, if you have any self-respect for your product. So he said you, and I thought, me?
Again,
Please?
talking about MLS.
Yeah, but he's talking about MLS.
Yeah.
He should have said, if you are MLS and you have any self-respect for your product, please hire someone that can at least get the price of a franchise for a TV deal. Seriously, 90 million is a big L. So now I'm thinking, now I'm really lost. I am completely lost in this conversation. If me, what do I have to do with this 90 million thing? I don't know what you're talking about. I have nothing to do with this TV deal. So, yeah, it was really confusing. And I know I figured out way later in the conversation that he meant MLS, not me personally. But I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, what's going on here? And, but yeah, I mean, it would be nice if they could get more than 90 million, but it's just not in the cards.
And here's a comparison. So the Premier League has a 6-year TV right deal with NBC Sports, worth of approximately about 2.7 billion US.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not sure when they signed that. Before I can click on the article, I guess to find the actual date itself.
Right.
So this was written in 2020. Okay, so it must have been recent. So they must have recently signed up again. But for 2 billion for about 7 years, give or take 7 or 8 years. You have to remember too. On top of that, and I brought this up as an example. There were more people that watched the Norwich Man U game than watched the MLS finals.
Right.
I mean, easily. Like, I don't know what the actual numbers were, but it was a ridiculous difference. But I mean, that goes to prove the actual value itself. The number of views aren't there. There are people who will watch soccer, but simply aren't watching MLS for various reasons, personal or interest, whatever. Obviously, a lot of people want to watch the best of the best, and that's why they watch European, EPL, Bundesliga, etc. They don't want to watch MLS. There are some people who watch MLS, but you've got from TV rights, the TV stations have to look at what they're going to get in return. And if the views aren't there, they're not going to offer ridiculous sums.
Right. Isn't Real Madrid worth like $4.2 billion?
Fuck if I know. I'd have to look that up.
I mean, I thought it was. I might be wrong. And I doubt that they're getting $4 billion a year for the American rights to broadcast it here in the United States. Anyhow, I guess the point is just this.
Not sure what beIN Sports pays it.
If you come on this page and you post a comment, just try to be really clear about what you're saying. And then when you're asked to be clear, be clear. I mean, I'm not a fucking mind reader. So write clear sentences so I know what the fuck you're talking about. I came to the point where I'm like, I had to reinterpret every one of this guy's posts. And once I got to it, I'm like, I finally said, listen, let's just start over, because obviously I'm not understanding anything you're saying at this point.
Dorian, please, I got your back.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily agree with your take, but I understood what you're saying. And
he called us simps for MLS, dude. I mean, really, if you think we're a simp for MLS, you are not paying any attention to our show at all.
The only thing we simp for are Yanks abroad, I guess. I don't know. Even MLS players, I guess, but not necessarily a league or an organization by any means.
Well, I'm glad you were able to make friends with him. And I don't think we simp for anybody, frankly. So I'm glad.
We have well, I'm going to refer to simping with biases. So like we have a bias towards Yang, so we want to see Pulisic playing week in week out.
Okay.
At that point, I say we're simping for Pulisic.
That's fine. Yeah, I can live with that. That's fine. That doesn't hurt my feelings. But I am glad all of you out there liked the dialectic in the last segment. The last show, that was cool that all of you kind of were like, well, yeah, these guys can talk about that shit. That's awesome. We might do a little more about that. Like maybe we'll talk about whether the space between 2 points in our existence is infinite, because it is. And that will lead to all kinds of discussions down the road that we will get to. Maybe, I don't know, we might, because matter is infinitely divisible. So that means you can have like a your little measuring foot there, right? And you're thinking you're measuring 12 inches, and you are in our world, but not in the infinite. You're not. You're just basically doing a human estimate based on the sort of the font and size of the world we live in. But no.
Did you ever see Monty Python and Meaning of Life?
Yes.
There's a segment in the middle of the movie where they come to take somebody's organs while they're still alive. And they go through a whole song about how life is meaningless because you're a speck amongst infinite mass, basically. And that's all I'm thinking about when you're going on about this.
No, but it's so true. That's a really good representation. And it's one of the reasons I used to give to a friend, like, why I hated flying. I'm like, yeah, that whole plane that's been put together, that's just like based on like the very imperfect math that we understand as human beings right now. And yeah, it's pretty good. That plane's still probably going to make it from A to B. But I still worry about that one guy who forgot to put that one screw in this far instead of, he just didn't do it. Screw it in one time, two. And then the plane's top blows off and we end up flying at 20,000 feet with no roof.
Plus,
and by the way,
all the fucking goblins on the wings, ripping apart the plane.
All right, Captain Kirk.
There's something on the wing. Something.
That is a very Twilight Zone thing to say. Yes. And that's a fucking great, by the way, it's a great thing to go watch. But yeah, that's why it bugged me to fly, because I'm like, all it takes is one guy who didn't screw one screw into, and then boom, you got no roof. And by the way, that's actually happened. If you go to YouTube and you type in a plane that lost its roof or something like that, or its top, boom, there it is. It happened. Like some dudes forgot to do some shit on a plane. The roof fell off. So all I'm saying is we as human beings are imperfect. And the reason we're imperfect is the world is infinite. And we're just fucking doing our best trying to interpret it in all of our little ways we can, using math and all these other very human things. And this might not even be the best way to interpret our space. We don't even know. There could be a better way to interpret our space than inches and metrics and math. There might be an infinite way to understand the infinite, but we haven't got there yet, and that's okay.
Yep. I gotta say, bouncing back to the Twilight Zone thing, that watching that as a youth, that episode with the little girl that could blink you out of existence.
Oh, that was
freaked the shit out of me.
Me too.
That was a freaky episode to watch.
That was class. And they're all like, oh yeah, we won't hurt your feelings. Oh, the dog is fine. The dog yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. They had a similar one too with a little boy, and he had power to like get rid of people, just get rid of them. And so, and they're like, oh no, he's a good guy. Don't get rid of him. He's a good guy. And he'd be like, well, I don't like him.
Yep.
Well, oh my God. Yeah. You couldn't disagree with this boy because he was like the master of the whole town. Anyhow, great stuff. Check out the Twilight Zone and the classics. Well worth your time. They are probably still creepy to this day. And we got more stuff coming up because this weekend we have the big game. Not a big game. It's not a big game.
We've got a game.
We got a game, and we're going to see some guys. Hopefully, we wanted to see. If you missed our projection on Berhalter's lineup for the game, the friendly versus Bosnia Herzegovina, go look that up. It's back there. We did it, I don't know how many shows ago, probably like 5 or 6. So go back there and check it out. Yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your Uncle Robert, and hit the bell. Gary Busey style. And until the next time on the Straight Red Card, good night. We got through it.